I said, I got to go.
Good morning. Good morning for everyone on Zoom as well. Oh, hold on, I gotta get that light thing out of my face. All right. Everyone knows I'm not tech savvy, so I always put this disclosure out here before we get started. Luckily, I think I'm good at selling houses, so it balances out. Anywho, it'll come back. I am Chris Woods. I'm your realtor and host for the morning. And we have Matt Melvin here. He's our loan officer. So you met your future loan officer this morning. He'll be talking to us about loans, grants, and things. And I'll just talk to you about the home buying process, what you can expect during the home buying process, and all the good things to look forward to. So make sure if you're online, you put your email in the chat so I can send you these slides that we're going to go over. All righty, that's me. So I've been in real estate going on 4 years now. I really got into real estate just because I like helping families become first-time home buyers at the closing table. That's my favorite time. I do a lot of crying there. It just touches my heart. So I hope to help each and every one of you all. And I'm driving and posting this morning, so bear with me. All righty. Why you should own a home. Buying a home, of course, can be a wise investment. Home values typically increase each year. It helps you to build equity. Equity is cash that you have in your home that you can, renovate, do other things with. And of course, when you go to sell your home, you can actually get cash in your pocket for that. And Matt maybe can touch on that, but interest paid to your home mortgage is usually tax deductible. So it does help out to be a homeowner during tax time. I have to move this. You know what?
You want me to drive? Tell me what I can do. Go ahead, Jack. Which one you push?
This space bar when I get ready.
Space bar.
All righty. How to get started. So first thing you want to do is learn about the home buying process. Everyone's taking that step this morning, so thank you so much. You do want to form your home dream team, as I like to call it. You'll need a realtor, a lender. We have inspectors, appraisers, contractors, title companies that we work with. So just know that there are a lot of moving pieces when you do go to purchase your home. And now is a good time to just start thinking about your must-haves, whether you need 2, 3, 4 bedrooms, whether you want your bedroom on the first floor, whether you need a garage. And then it's a good time to also think about whether townhomes may be a good fit for you, where you have someone cut the yard. So just some different options available. And in the process, go ahead. First step is getting pre-approved. You want to set yourself up for success by speaking to a loan officer, going over the process. You'll need to gather your documents like your pay stubs, W-2s, bank statements, taxes for the past 2 years. You can complete the application and review credit with a mortgage professional. They'll be able to go over what loan types you qualify for, grant types you qualify for, give you an estimate of your down payment, and just be able to set reasonable financial expectations, including your closing costs and things like that. So a lot of people ask how much you need to get into your house, but the truth is it really just varies on a case-by-case scenario. So this is how you find out. Every situation is different, so that's why it is important to get pre-approved, as well as it determines your price range. So where you may be comfortable paying monthly versus what you're approved for may be different. Getting this pre-approval lets you know your housing budget, so that way when we get ready to go shopping, we can stay within those guidelines. Next. And then finding the right home. So after you get pre-approved and you have your pre-approval letter with the amount that we are approved for, we're ready to go shopping. We can look at traditional resale homes. Push the button for me. Thank you. Those are homes that have already been lived in or used as primary residences before. So those are the traditional resales that you see with the for sale signs in front of you. We can look at those. Foreclosures and short sales are pretty much bank-owned properties. We can look at those as well, and they may come up in your home search, but keep in mind that the negotiation process is a little bit different because you're negotiating with the bank versus an individual. For sale by owners, we can also look at those as well. Feel free to give me a call and I will reach out to the seller directly and set up an appointment. That way we can actually go in and tour the home. And the same with new construction. I just want to reiterate with new construction, it is still a good idea to have an agent. When you walk into a new construction office, the agent sitting there works for the builder. So you have your own agent there to represent your best interests during that transaction. And this way I'm there to look over extra documents, paperwork, and things that addendums that they may send throughout the process. There have been a lot of changes with new construction as prices fluctuate. So you definitely just want to make sure that you're up to date on the information, and staying on top of what they're sending and communications. And then just right now it says the average buyer looks at about 6 homes before finding the right one. The market is a little different now. So maybe 6 homes before you put in your first offer. Luckily, the market is slowing down and becoming a lot more buyer friendly. This summer, multiple offers on everything. But now, hopefully, after you look at about 6 homes, we can find the right one and put an offer in, which will bring us to our next slide. So when you submit an offer, there are a couple of things that you do want to know. We do use electronic signatures versus traditional pen and paper in most cases. So a good realtor will go over the purchase agreement with you prior to putting in an offer. Because there's some things that you want to just highlight during that, and that's usually done during a buyer consultation, which is again, after you get pre-approved, we sit down and talk about the options for you at that point. Another thing, the offer is submitted with a earnest money deposit. Basically a good faith deposit. It just lets the seller know that you are serious about purchasing the home, and lets them, know that you can put money down on it. Now, keep in mind that any funds that you put down for your deposit will go towards any closing costs or anything that you're expected to bring to the table during closing. So down payment, whatever it is, it would just be subtracted from that amount. Sellers do have the option to it's all good. Accept, reject, or counter the offer. So once you put in your offer, there may be some negotiating at that point. They may reject it and go with another offer. But in an ideal where your offer is accepted, and once it is signed by all parties, it does become a legally binding contract. Just for a moment, want to highlight here. Again, once it's signed by all parties, it is a legally binding contract. We look at a lot of houses. If you're not sure and you want to sleep on it, that's completely up to you. I would much rather you sleep on it than put in an offer and then we're trying to wiggle our way out of a contract, and then we're trying to get our deposit back, which we may or may not be able to get back. And I always just like to put that out front early on. So just be certain that, you want this home, you like this home before we start signing paperwork. If you're not sure, we can look at some other ones and maybe come back to it if it's still available. But again, once it's signed by all parties, it does become a legally binding contract. Next. Alrighty, current market conditions, and I actually need to update this. Matt, if you click on that first one, average sales to list price, it was 105%. It's actually come down. We're right at 100%.
Wow.
We are right at 100%. So what that means to the buyer is, if you see a house for $200,000 this summer, people were paying $210 for that house. They were going over. But right now, again, we are in a more buyer-friendly market. It is still a seller's market, but it's a little bit more buyer-friendly. So the average sales to list price currently is right at 100%. I looked at it yesterday. And home prices have increased. I need to update that because I want to say it's maybe about 8% from this time last year. So people always ask, is now a good time for me to buy? Interest rates are low and home values are still increasing constantly. So now is still a good time to buy. If anything changes, I'll be the first to let you know. If interest rates skyrocket or home values begin to slow down, because they typically do not decrease, but the market does change. But currently, this is a little just of where we are. And again, this was just done, I think in August. So it's changed drastically since then. So just some things to keep in mind. Alrighty, so once our offer is accepted, we do the whole house inspection, which is basically like a test drive of your home. At that point, we call in our inspector, and they look at all of the major systems. So you got HVAC, electricity, plumbing, roof, crawl space, as well as any appliances that are there, your stove, wash machine, dryer, things like that. Inspection costs are upfront, so when you talk about how much money you will need to get into a home, you do want to factor in your inspection costs. It ranges between $350 to $500 depending on the square footage of the home. Depending on the house that you get, if you have a pool or if you want to get a chimney inspection, you're more than welcome to do that. You can have additional inspections, but they are the buyer's responsibility. So they will be additional out-of-pocket expenses. And inspections are for the major items only. So if the carpet is ugly, that's not going to be on the inspection report. But if the roof is leaking, obviously that will be on the inspection report. And at that point, if it's on the inspection report, we have the ability to either negotiate with the seller for repairs. We can negotiate for a credit, which we would use to fix those items ourselves. Or we are in a competitive market still, so you can choose to accept the home with those items defective, just with the understanding that you will have to come in and potentially take care of those items. But again, each transaction is different, so we'll cross those paths when we get there. Alrighty, the fun stuff. So the appraisal. After we clear our inspection contingency, we typically touch on the appraisal that is ordered by the lender. So Matt will be the one to order the appraisal. It is another out-of-pocket expense, so that is paid by the buyer, and let's see, about $450 to $600, just depending on the type of loan. Again, when you have your pre-approval process and you select your loan product, Matt can give you a better idea of how much you can expect your appraisal to be. Every transaction is different, so just keep that in mind. You do pay for that when the appraisal is ordered. So that is another out-of-pocket expense that you do need to anticipate for. And basically what the appraisal does is it just reassesses the property value to make sure that you're not overpaying. So if it's $200,000 house that you're getting, then with the appraisal, it'll make sure that the home is worth at least $200,000. Next one. All right, just a quick recap. So for out-of-pocket expenses, you're looking at your earnest money deposit, which the earnest money deposit, um, typically for retail, it's about $1,000, just the estimate. It can fluctuate. I have seen new construction now requiring 3% of the purchase price. So just budget accordingly, based on what you're looking for and based on what you talk about during that pre-approval process. You want to budget for your inspection, you want to budget for your appraisal, and then your down payment and closing costs. That is again going to vary for everyone. There are grant programs that can help you cover some of these things, but Matt will be the one to talk to you all about that. But everyone's out-of-pocket expenses will vary. Again, it's important to get pre-approved early on in the process so that you can set that expectation up front and get an idea of what you need to save for and everything like that. Final steps. One more. All right. So once we get through the inspection and the appraisal, and Matt has all of your pay stubs, bank statements, and all that fun stuff. We'll get our clear to close. That's usually about 3 to 5 days, maybe before closing, and then we'll do our final walkthrough. We'll make sure that if we ask for any inspection items to be repaired, they're repaired during this time. We'll review the closing documents so you know exactly how much you need to bring to the table at closing. The seller signs their documents prior to closing, so you typically do not meet the seller. And it's held at the title company or attorney's office. So you come in and do it. It has to be notarized. You pay any remaining balance. Again, that's going to be minus your deposit, because your deposit is subtracted from that, and you sign all of your paperwork there. The good thing is you actually take possession of the property during closing, so you get the keys. So after closing, you can move in, you can have a house party, you can come to closing with the U-Haul truck if you want to, whatever you desire. But once you sign on those documents and I cry at the closing table with you, then we can help you get all moved in. And that's it. One more button. Any questions? I know we got the chat going up here. Sorry, you guys, I can't man the chat and do all of that too. All righty. Thank y'all. Make sure y'all put y'all email addresses in there. And if you put your email address in, I will be sure to send you these slides and all of the paperwork that we have to share with you all. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining. All right. I am going to turn it over to Matt. And Matt, I think I'm gonna even turn this light off for you. There we go.
So I am very new to this technology. Good morning. How is everybody? I'm old school. My name is Matt Melvin. I've been in this business for, good Lord, I don't really want to tell you, about 28 years. That'll pretty much tell you how old I am. I am here to help facilitate you and Chris and basically getting you aware of the home buying process through the lending process, the lending side of it. I do not have a PowerPoint presentation because during COVID, the pandemic, a lot of things changed in the lending industry, which means credit scores went from 620 to 640 and all that kind of stuff. So stuff is just beginning to settle down. So I am probably in the process, we'll have one shortly because I've noticed that they're bringing all the minimum credit scores back to the usual and what it used to be because everything was crazy. So, I mean, everybody should know. However, piggybacking on her, she was absolutely, I really don't have a whole lot to say because she covered just about everything. As far as minimum credit scores to start, I guess we'll start there, because really what I'm going to do is when she has your emails, I'm going to forward you what I call a first-time home buyer's Bible. And when the lady that's here with us this morning, she already has it. I will forward it all to you. It's basically, it will cover everything you need to know from A to Z on purchasing a property or getting qualified to purchase. There are tons of grant money out here, depending on when you do it. There's VHDA, which we also now have a great facilitator, a trainer in the office, Ms. Woods. She's awesome now. She is certified to tell you everything that you need to know about VHDA, which is a awesome vehicle. It is money that is given to the state of Virginia to use towards grant programs if you qualify. So let me explain that real quick. So if you qualify, if you have a 620 minimum credit score, as you looked at what she was telling you earlier about the grant programs, on an FHA product, you normally have to bring 3.5% in down payment to closing. All right, so what that means is if it's $100,000, your down payment would be $3,500. Well, what VHDA has a program where they will give you, it's called a VHDA Plus, they will give you the whole $3,500 towards closing. Of course, you have to get closing costs or save up. Ms. Woods and negotiate. There's a lot of other things that go into that. Or they have a grant program that will give you 2.5%, which means they'll give you $2,500 and you will have to bring the 1%, which is $1,000, which equals $3,500. It is fantastic. I think every first-time home buyer should use it. Also, which is amazing with this, is you have these grant programs, these bond programs in the city. Like you have housing opportunities made equal. You have Southside redevelopment, development housing. Yeah, I call them by the acronym. So it's hard for me to say what it is, but I just say Southside. If you hear Southside, you know that is what it is. They will actually give you grant money that you can stack on top of the VHDA money. So for instance, if you have the down payment and you get $5,000 to $10,000 and grant money over here, you can pretty much come into the house almost with nothing down. I've done it 100 times, 1,000 times. I can't tell you how many times, but it is a beautiful thing for a first-time home buyer. So basically what we need to do is just get you in. I will send you what I have. My website will be on there. You give me a call, we'll talk, you email whatever, you can go in, fill out the application. Once we get started, I will let you know what is available to you. It's a ton of stuff out there and you need to use it. I cannot say that, I cannot stress that enough. Please use the stuff that's out there because you will save so much money. However, let me give you some programs real quick so you can understand. All right, if you're a veteran, there is a VA loan. A VA loan is 100%. So basically what I was telling you about the FHA, that's 3.5%. On a VA loan, you qualify 100% financing. Only thing you have to look forward to is closing costs. Again, Ms. Woods, they are awesome negotiators. She just made a great point. And I just listening to her, my mother always would say, if you go a day and don't learn something, it's a day wasted. So I did not realize that we were going back into a buyer's market because you got to understand for the last 2 years, it's been a seller's market and everything has been crazy. They're not negotiating anything. They're coming in with these offers that's like $20,000 and $30,000. I can tell you some stories that will blow your mind. $20,000, $30,000. I had one client to put a $200,000 earnest money deposit on the property. So that tells you the way the market is. Now she can negotiate to get you closing costs because it is now a buyer's market, which means that they're looking to get rid of their houses, their property. So you have some leverage. So basically, we get you in the grant program, you get that down payment covered, and she work her magic on the other side. Like I say, you're doing great things. So stay in contact with her, myself. It is a perfect time to buy. VA, 100%. We have the USDA product, which is, and I explain these to my clients all the time. They go, USDA, all right, you go in the grocery store, what you see, USDA on all the meats and all of that stuff, right? USDA was invented or created for farmers, rural areas. Well, if you look around where we live, we're expanding. Everybody's going out. The suburbs, every time you go somewhere, somebody's building something out there. Well, it is an imaginary line that goes around the city of Richmond, Petersburg, Hanover. And that imaginary line, if this property is behind this imaginary line, it qualifies for USDA, which means that it qualifies for a farm loan, basically what it is. So, and that is 100% financing as well. Only thing about that, you have to have a 660 middle score in your credit score to qualify, but it's a beautiful thing. You wouldn't believe, you got these houses going for $400,000, $500,000, and these people are getting them for 100% down because it's USDA. You use what's out there. If it's there, you use it. So if you qualify for something, and she was talking about getting it built, if the build is out there, if it's USDA qualified, that's 100% financing. You golden. So think about that. Conventional. That is a traditional conventional loan. All right. On a conventional loan, the minimum down payment you can go is 3%. You have to qualify for that. That's a little more than a 620 credit score. It's probably 640 to 660. I can do a conventional loan at 620, but you cannot qualify for the 3%. It would have to be 5% down, depending on the situation. Also, I want to put in there that I will go down to 580 on FHA and VA loans with extending compensating factors, which means that when you talk to me, you're gonna have to need some money in the bank. It's gotta be something that looks real good. You gotta go down, you can't have bankruptcies, all that kind of stuff, but we can get you done at a 580. So if you come back and you're like, I got a 581, don't feel bad. There's ways around it. I can still get you qualified. We just need to do some work. So I'm trying to touch everything real quick because she pretty much put it out there. Yes. All right, let's look at what you need to qualify. She was absolutely correct. You need 2 years of employment, which means I need 2 years of W-2s. I need 60 days of bank statements, which means I need your bank statements for 60 days, what you deposit in there. We'll get into seasoning and sourcing of funds once I talk to you. That's gonna look time consuming. But if I don't want you to come and somebody just gave you $10,000 and it was just put in there yesterday, that's gonna be an issue. We're gonna have to find out how we can do it, link it up, but that's what we can do. We work on that once we get started. Just remember, 60 days of bank statements, 2 years of W-2s, ID, and of course I need your ID because we gotta know who you are. Employment, 2 years. We need to show 2 years of employment. You do not have to work. What people think, a lot of people go and say, well, do I have to work at the same place? No. You can work a year here and a year there, as long as you got 2 years in employment and I got W-2s to support it. You do not have to have the same job for 2 years. I get that all the time. And you can change jobs while you're in the process of doing it. I would not recommend that if you're going to make less money, but if you're making the same amount of money or more, you can change jobs while you're doing it. I'm not gonna tell you not to leave, somebody offer you more money. So that's another, I guess, something that's out there that people always ask me about. We got the jobs, we got that, 2 years, tax returns, depending. And this is one thing that, if you look at it, you will see a lot of people will say they require tax returns. I do not. If you qualify for an FHA mortgage and you can show 2 years of W-2s, I do not need your tax returns. I'm gonna say that again. If you qualify for a mortgage, FHA or conventional, and you have 2 years of employment consistently, I may not need your tax returns. A lot of times people have issues with tax returns. You might have done something in your tax return, lost some money, did something like that. I don't need the tax returns if you qualify. It will let me know. Okay. Let me see, what else did I need to tell you? We got bank statements, conventional. Minimum credit score, FHA, 620. Minimum credit score, conventional, 620. I can go down to 580, but we'd have to talk about it. Depending on I can do it. On VA, 620. Let me see. USDA, 660. I just want to make sure you got that. Everybody understands. Basically, what we need to do, all the grant programs, let me make sure you understand this. Every bond and grant program, you have to have a 620 middle score. If you are at a 620, if you are at a 580, I can do you a regular FHA, but I cannot get you the grant money. You have to be 620. The reason being, so you will understand, all of the grant programs and the bond programs mimic FHA. So it's crazy because FHA has now gone down to 580 to let you qualify, but you have to have a minimum of 620 because they will attach to FHA. There are some that I can do conventionally, but 97% of them attach to FHA loans. So 620 is the minimum to get the grant money. Just remember that. Now, listen, before I end this, I'm here. If you give me a call or you go online and you do it and you are not where you need to be credit-wise, do not worry. I work with people all the time and getting their credit together. And I'm gonna say this, probably 8 out of 10 of my clients, I have to work with their credit. So once I get it, I can do credit simulators. I can show you what you need to do. I'll get you to where you need to be. You just need to start somewhere. The point is starting somewhere. Don't just sit back and wait. This is the time to do it. You got people here that will work with you. You need to get on board. And let me tell you something. There's nothing, just like she said, I've been doing this for 28 years. And I'm amazed that she said she cries at the closings. That is the best feeling in the world. Just knowing that you're helping somebody, you're getting somebody something that they can have for the rest of their lives. You don't understand the letters, and I still get letters for Christmas from the kids that were kids, and now they're grown. They tell you how old I am. Mr. Melvin, what you doing? But yes, it is a beautiful thing. There's no better time to buy it now. The rates are extremely good. Like she's saying, it's now becoming a buyer's market again. I'm just here for you. I really would love to work with you. I love working with them. These women are awesome. Look, I just sit back because I've watched this whole thing go in real estate because I've been here so long, and it's amazing to have great young people doing things like this because us old heads, it just gives us life. So here I am. If you need anything, hopefully I explained everything. The bottom line is this. I have a packet. I call it a Bible, a new home buyer's Bible. I will give it. I'm gonna email it to Chris, and she can email it to all of y'all. It has my information, everything on it. You call me. This should pretty much tell you everything. Is it pretty thorough? Yes. It pretty much tells you everything you need. All the steps. Everything. I got it in here for you like that, and I'm gonna put it on a PowerPoint one day. Y'all had to, do my thing. But seriously, it is awesome. I give it to a lot of people all the time. When I do open houses with other agents, I put it there. So listen, you get it, you email it to some of your friends, anybody, because we need everybody to be educated and understand the process of home buying, okay? It was a pleasure and a treat to be here on Saturday morning and talk to y'all. But if you need anything, please give me a holler. I'm gonna turn this back over to the queen, and y'all have a beautiful Saturday and the rest of your weekend. Be safe and blessed and stay healthy, okay? Take care. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Hi, you guys. Again, thank everyone for joining. I'm going to wrap it up. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat now. Please drop your email in the chat so that I can send you the slides and Matt's Homebuyer Bible. I hope that everyone learned something and have a great day. Please enjoy the rest of your Saturdays.
You like that?